We hear all the time about the incredible potential of Web3, right? But so often it feels like that potential is locked behind this huge wall of complexity. So today, we're going to dive into that massive disconnect that's holding Web3 back and, more importantly, talk about how smart design can finally move this amazing technology from being confusing to being crystal clear.
And it all starts with this question. It's something that, honestly, so many of us have felt, whether you're a user or a builder. You can have this totally groundbreaking idea, a game-changing dApp, but the moment people try to use it, they just get lost. It's a super common frustration, and it really points to a much bigger problem. And that problem? We can call it the Web3 usability gap. At its heart, it's this huge mismatch between how we expect technology to work, thanks to the last decade of Web 2, and the often clunky, jargon-filled reality of the decentralized world.
And this slide really nails it. In the Web 2 world we live in, we expect a straight path, right? A single click, an easy swipe. But then you jump into Web 3, and suddenly you're on this tangled journey of managing seed phrases, trying to understand gas fees, and navigating these really complex, multi-step workflows. Look, this isn't just a small inconvenience. It's a massive barrier that just shatters a user's confidence and stops mainstream adoption dead in its tracks.
So, what do we do about it? How do we actually bridge this huge gap? Well, the answer isn't about adding more features or even more complicated tech. The solution is actually something way more fundamental. It's strategic, user-focused design. Design is that essential bridge that can take a user from being totally confused to feeling genuinely confident. And when we say Web3 UX design, let's be super clear. This isn't just about making things look pretty. It's a real strategy. It's all about intentionally simplifying those complicated blockchain interactions, cutting down the mental effort, what designers call cognitive friction, that it takes to use a product. And ultimately, it's about guiding people so they feel secure and in control every single step of the way. So, the entire mission really boils down to this one simple, powerful idea: to take a product from a state of head-spinning complexity to one of absolute clarity. When you get that right, you unlock its true potential for everyone, not just the crypto experts. But here's the thing. Achieving that kind of clarity doesn't just happen by magic. It's the result of a deliberate and proven process. Think of it like a blueprint for building Web3 products that people will actually love to use. And that blueprint usually breaks down into 4 key stages. It all starts with discovery and research. That's where you really get into the user's head and understand their pain points. From there, you move into strategy and wireframing to map out the simplest possible journey. Only after that do you get into the visual and interaction design. And then comes the absolutely crucial final step, usability testing, before a clean handoff. It's a structure built to find and squash problems long before they ever reach a real user. And look, this approach isn't just for one type of project. It applies across the entire Web3 ecosystem. We're talking about everything from the interface of a dApp to the user experience of a crypto wallet. It's about making DeFi dashboards feel powerful, not scary, and making sure NFT platforms are a breeze for creators and collectors alike. Now, something really cool happens once you start to solve these core usability problems. All that focus on the user experience translates directly into real, measurable growth. This is the moment where good design stops being a nice-to-have and becomes a core driver of the business. And the data really shows this. Just look at a number like 99% client retention. A metric like that is so revealing. It basically says that when projects invest in fixing their user experience problems, they see so much real long-term value that they just keep doing it. It becomes a non-negotiable part of their strategy. And listen to what this CEO had to say. This brings up another crucial point. A great design solution isn't just for the end users. It becomes this vital tool that signals stability, thoughtfulness, and market readiness to investors. In a space that's filled with so much uncertainty, having clear, intuitive design builds instant credibility. So it all really comes down to these 3 pillars. The whole point of this design strategy is to drive user adoption by making things easy, to build rock-solid user trust by making them feel safe, and by doing those 2 things, you fuel real, sustainable growth. They're all connected, and great design is the engine that powers all of them. Okay, so let's get really specific. What do you actually get when you successfully bridge that usability gap? What are the tangible benefits for a product or a business? Well, great design creates this clear cause and effect chain. It starts with a clear user flow. That clarity naturally leads to faster adoption. When people understand what they're doing, that builds trust, which in turn dramatically reduces the number of people who give up and leave. A well-designed system is also way easier to scale, and all of this, every single point, leads to a much higher return on your investment. So if you remember one thing, let it be this.
Good design is like a translator. It takes this incredibly complex, maybe even intimidating technology, and it transforms it into an experience that people can not only use, but one they can actually trust. And that right there is the key to unlocking the mainstream potential of Web3.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. Whether you're a builder, an investor, or just a user in this space, ask yourself, is the technology you're involved with just built to be powerful, or is it truly built to be understood? The answer to that question will probably define its entire future.